Hey guys, it's Karaoke Cats and Camera, and today I'm doing my May wrap up. So in May I read 12 things. I'm not going to go crazy into these. I do actually write reviews on Goodreads. I'll leave my link down below if you want to friend me. That would be awesome. But when I read so much in a month, I feel like I can't go on about them because the video is going to be hella long. So first up, I read Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. When I first heard about this series, I wasn't really interested in it. I was like, oh, it's just another werewolf tropey piece of crap. But then I read The Raven Cycle, absolutely adored it, and then I found these in a charity shop for like 50p each, so I grabbed them. And I did actually quite enjoy this. I thought it was different to a lot of other sort of werewolfy type things or paranormal romances, you know. It had its own sort of feel and flavour. I like the whole temperature aspect. So in here, the wolves change because it gets cold. I thought that was really cool, the way it was done. And yeah, I enjoyed all the characters, and there was different things going on to make it interesting rather than just a boring love story. Next up, I had a review copy of Red as Blue by JJ Strangeway. This one, the premise sounded cool, so I requested it. It's set in the 80s, I think it was. And then a main character is coming to terms with her sexuality, and there's this whole different way it's done. It's told as a play, it's told in comic form, and I was like, that sounds really cool. It's not. It was really, really bad. I gave it 2 stars, which is nice of me. It was just not good at all, guys. Our main character, she was, I don't know whether she was meant to be written as having learning difficulties. It was never mentioned. She was just really, 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 really stupid. I know that's a horrible way of putting it, but it was like genuinely annoying reading it. Someone would say something like literally and she'd be like, what's literary? It just, oh my god, it was so annoying constantly as well. Oh, I can't even remember some examples. I did put some genuine examples from this in my review, so check that out. But it was just like, oh, someone said something about being promiscuous and she was like, what's promiscuous? Like, what? And then because there was a love interest, it just seemed really bad. Like, the relationship should not have happened. It was clearly like taking advantage of someone that's not able to be in a relationship like that, or not. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say that she was actually had learning difficulty because it was never said in here. I don't know whether it was that or not. It was just, it was so bad. And then the told in comics bit, there was literally 1 page of comics every like 30 pages, which just had pictures of stuff that's already happened. You'll read it and then the next page it will be a few comic panels of that same scene. That is not using comics to move the story forward. If you say that your story uses comics in it, actually have it use them. Have it for 10 pages straight and actually continue in the story, not writing stuff that's already happened and then drawing it. It was really annoying. 10 out of 10, do not recommend. Also, so much for me not going into the books because it's going to be a long video. Next up, I read Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, which was a lot better, of course. Yes, this was great. I love all of our characters. It's just like, how is Kaz 400 steps ahead of everybody? He's literally thought of everything, and if something goes wrong, he's like, well, I planned for this, 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 and this already. I planned 400 steps ahead, so it's fine. It's just crazy. It's really intricate, but it's awesome, and I love all the characters. Everybody's read it already. I don't need to go on. You know what it's about. You know that it's good. Let's move on. I spent too much on the annoying one. Next up, I read another book that I requested to read. I know I was a little bit on tenterhooks here, whether it'd be good or not, and that was Spinner by Michael J. Bowler. Oh my god, I loved it. This was such a cool story. As you may be able to notice by the front cover, pow, our main character is in a wheelchair. All of the side characters are members of his special ed class. So we have someone with ADHD, we have someone with a really pronounced stutter that's actually used throughout the book. We have another character with autism. We have just all of them are really terrible at reading and they don't mind about that. One of the characters, his best friend, is coming to terms with his sexuality as well, so we have that whole arc. And he has magic powers. He's in a wheelchair, but He can heal everybody. He can heal, if someone's feeling sad, he can heal them. If someone's actually hurt themselves, he can heal them. And it's just like this crazy thing, this adventure they go on because people are after him because of this cool power that he's got. He's got a pretty shitty home life because he lives in a foster home with these other 2 boys, and the foster mum like forces him to make the other boys better. She makes them hurt each other, or she hurts them. It's not really explicit, so it's not like, oh, trigger warning for loads of abuse in a foster home. She's a bitch, but it's not like overly explained about any of the hurtingness. But she does get him to like make them feel better after she's hurt them or got them to hurt each other. She's a bitch, basically. But yeah, this is really cool. I liked it even though the baddie was a cat, or lots of cats. Imagine that. There's loads of mean, evil cats in here. But I accepted that because the story was so good. It was really chill, really easy to read, really fun to read. It reads more like a middle grade, even though it is YA. It has its YA elements, but it reads easy like that. Next up, I read E.M. Forster's Maurice. This was written in the early 1900s when being gay was still illegal in England. But it is a gay love story with a happy ending. Imagine that. People can't even write them nowadays, never mind when it was legit illegal. Again, this was an easy book to read. Obviously not in the same vein as Spinner, but it doesn't read historical. I know some people wouldn't want to read it because of the time period it's written in. I was a little bit iffy because I don't really like that whole classic historical thing going on. But I watched the film years ago. I own the film. I guess if you want to watch it instead of read it, you can do that. It's good. It's, like I said, it doesn't read like it's old. It reads like somebody could have written it nowadays but set it in the past. It's really cool. It wasn't released until after E.M. Forster's death, so it wasn't released until the 70s. But I feel like it's still an important book. It's nice to know that even people in a place where it's actually a crime to be gay can still embrace themselves. They can still love themselves, and they can still write a book about somebody that embraces and loves themselves. So there you go. Next, I read The Runaways, Volume 3, The Good Die Young. This one, The Runaways, is just a fun series. It's quite middle grade-y in the way it's told, and the characters are pretty young, so here's the sort of artwork we're having here. Yeah, it's just a really fun, really easy comic to read, so check it out if you like fun, easy comics. This is set around a group of kids who find out that their parents are in this big evil organisation of evilness, and they try and help stop it. And there's a raptor. Next, I read Linga by Maggie Stiefvater, which is the second book in that series. I did actually start the third book, but then I had a readathon, and then I have to read all the gay books this month, so I probably won't finish the series for a while, even though there was 4. But I bought the 3. Anyway, all of that is irrelevant. This one carries on from where the other one stopped. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as the first one, or maybe I did. Maybe it's the third one that I'm not feeling as good as the other 2. I can't remember. It's still enjoyable. It's still a fun book to read. I like the secondary characters they have in here. I really like Isabel because she feels like such a real character, and she's so angry and annoyed at everything, but she comes a long way, so yes. Next, I read the second volume of Young Avengers, Alternative Culture. I loved this. I really like the Young Avengers. Read them because they're good. But yeah, this is like a really easy one to read, really fun. With, as you can guess, young people in it because Young Avengers. Again, love the artwork in here. It's a really fun series. I like all the characters. So yeah, it has a lot of pop culture references and just modern stuff. Next, I reread Half Bad by Sally Green. Obviously, I'd already read this and I already enjoyed it, therefore I was rereading it. But I loved it. I think I loved it more than I did the first time around, because the first time around I didn't enjoy the beginning bit where it's told in second person. This time around I was like, mate, it's for about 5 pages, chill out. It wasn't that bad. It's not literally 5 pages, it's longer than that, but in my head, like, this much of it was told in second person, but in reality, like, this much was. I need to chill out. But yeah, I love this, love Nathan, love going back to him, and it's harsh, He's treated like shit all the time by everybody in the world ever. But it's a really good series and you should read it, and Gabriel is everything and you should read it. There we go. Next, I read The 5 Stages of Andrew Birley by Sean David Hutchinson. This was my first dive into Sean David Hutchinson's work. I've been wanting to read his books for ages, but yeah, I've had this on my wish list for years. I finally picked it up, I finally read it, and I enjoyed it. It made me cry. Check out my subathon vlog if you want to see me actually cry, because I do on that video. Yep, made me cry. This is set in a hospital, and going into it, I didn't know how Andrew was connected to the hospital, so when I read it, it was actually really interesting to find out why he was there and what he was doing there, because that's not what I pictured he was there for at all. That is really vague if you've not read this book, but yeah, it's sad, but it's happy. Next, I read the short story His Grandfather's Watch by N.R. Walker. This one, if you did watch my subathon vlog, you would know that I went to Photograph Slam Dunk Festival, couldn't take a book with me, so I had to find something quick and easy to read on my phone. This was the choice. It was alright, I enjoyed it, it was kind of cute, but because it was a short story I didn't really get connected to the characters and stuff, so it wasn't the best. But it was worth a read, it's free, so why not? And this is about this guy that goes into a watch fixing place with his grandfather's watch to figure out what the story behind it is, and then they find a photograph in it, and then it's all about piecing together this story of what this photograph's about and stuff. It was enjoyable. It is LGBT as well, so it's free. Grab it if you want. And last but not least, talking about books that made me cry, Adam Silvera, of course. Adam Silvera always makes me cry. I read History Is All You Left Me, and this book is an emotional rollercoaster, guys, because it's told back then and now, back then and now. I'm crying, I'm really happy, an emotional wreck, I'm feeling all the cute and fuzzy things. I hate my life because I'm so upset, and then I'm really enjoying this and it's so cute. Yes, it was... Adam Silvera is so good at destroying my soul, but also picking it back up again, because it's really cute and fluffy, but also really sad and harrowing. Basically every Adam Silvera book ever. So there we go, those are all the books I read in May. Obviously some on my Kindle as well, but there we go. Even though I read one pretty terrible book, I feel like I read a lot of good stuff as well, so winner. So tell me down below what you read in May, or whether you've read any of these books. Tell me what you thought about them. If this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, then please check out some of my others, and if you continue to enjoy them, then please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I'll see you in a few days with another video. Bye.